All right. James Elite Love, Expert Steam Cleaning. And right here, this is episode 2 of Experts Restoration Training. Right. So, what we're getting into in this episode is your starter kit for water and fire damage restoration, inspections, and evaluations. Why this is so important is, you know, if you just show up, just you, which, you can do that if you have to, but that's not really ideal. The reason why that's not ideal because there's certain expectations, certain tools you need to do jobs. It's a specialized industry, right? So if you talk about a dentist, if you talk about a mechanic, any specialized industry, they're going to need tools. Mechanics need their sockets and wrenches and ratchets and pulleys and you know, breaker bars and things like that. Dentists need all the tools that they need to floss your teeth, to clean them, to remove teeth, stuff like that. So with water damage restoration, just like a handyman needs tools, it's just like a construction person needs tools, you need tools too. So we're gonna start off with number one thing you need is a vest. The reason why you need a vest is this is gonna distinguish you from other workers. Specifically, if you have a branded vest that no one could just buy. Why does this hold so much value? Let's get into why it holds value. So the reason why having vests hold value is because when you're working in different places, people could see you like, okay, there goes, James. You know, he is doing the water damage at this apartment or at this business, right? You can immediately distinguish who he is from other people. Okay. Next thing you want to get on is a device that people can give you reviews, right? And ours we use a Zappy. It's right here. It's right here on us, and it's super important to have that, for so many reasons. But one of the main reasons why is because every time we do a job, do an inspection, do anything, we want to, have a standard that we set. And if you know that we have these Zappy cards to get reviews, to see what we are on our Google My Business page, we think that's important and that's a great resource for you to go look that up. Okay. Next thing we're gonna get to is a branded shirt. Sometimes the vests make it hot or whatever the case. So vest you can put this on any shirt, whatever. But if you want to look as professional as possible, have a branded shirt right here. Ours, expert steam cleaning, water, and property damage restoration. So we had a shirt. So if we take the vest off and we're just rocking the shirt, it's embroidered. It's not coming off. It's very nice. Shout out to Big Boys Embroidery for blessing us with the shirt. You can have stuff like that. Another thing you want to have when we talk about how you look, we think it's underrated, but a haircut. Make sure you groom well. We go with different barbers that we choose, but when we're getting our haircut, right? Depending on where we are, because if we're somewhere far away, we maybe not get to the barber that we use. But our go-to is Davis the Butcher at Old Country Barbershop, Antelope Acres, California. Right. The reason why we do that is it cuts at a high level, keeps us look professional, keeps us at a point where we can close as many jobs as possible when we work with a high level individual like that. So shout him out. Shout out the barbers at his shop. That come through. Carlos. All those barbers at the shop that go in and do work at a high level. Okay. Next thing we're gonna get to, very important, it's very underrated. Matter of fact, before I get into that, let's get to having a smartphone. You need a smartphone. It has all the apps. It has so many things. It has that camera on there so you can capture your work. So that's very, very, very important to have a smartphone specifically for work or something to capture media. Right? No one knows it happens until you push that record button. No one knows what happens until you push that record button. So always want to have a phone with you to record, take pictures, show proof of your work. When you talk about inspections before and after, inspecting the job when it happens, evaluate that job for when you're putting together proposals or you're putting together that property estimate that the insurance company is going to look at or your staff is going to look at or, the people that are hiring you are going to look at. Very important to add those pictures. but also gives you ability to get on FaceTime to do your CRM process. Like, you might be using RepCard or, one of the other mini CLMs, MailChimp, things like that. When you guys are changing information, I can go all day talking about the phone. Make sure you have it on you. Don't leave it in the truck or in the car or anything like that. Next thing you want to have is an Amazon Basics tripod with the phone mount on it. Why? So you can put your phone out and record jobs. Somebody says you broke something and you're recording that job. It's kind of hard for them to say you broke something if you recorded you working the whole time, right? And send it in to one of those services that will keep that recording on file for you. Very important to have that. So that's why we want to show you that. We have a tripod and we bring that on every job that we do. Next thing you want to get on is hard hat. You want to make sure you have a hard hat. Very important to have a hard hat on any of these jobs. The reason why the hard hat is so important, it's crucial, it's vital, is because when you're on construction sites or you're working with some stuff that might be falling from the roof, water, or anything you don't want to get on your head, but hard hat will protect you. This is a nice adjustable hard hat. You can see it's a little scuffed up and dingy because we use it a lot. But, and it has an adjustable setting on the back that you just twist, you put on, and you're ready to work. Okay. If you're on construction sites, a lot of them nowadays require hard hats. So get you a hard hat. You can get them for Harbor Freight for about $10 to $20. Pick one up for at least yourself if you are owner operator or you're working somewhere. It just makes you look better. And yeah, a lot of places it is required. So make sure you pick up a hard hat. Okay. Now let's get on to some other items. Oh well, before we get to that, you need a bag, right, to carry your stuff in. This is a Bauer bag, tool bag. Very useful, very handy. We love it. You would love it too if you had one. So get one. Don't make excuses. Make it happen. So get this bag so you can put all your stuff in it. You can put it in your computer, your meters, everything. And don't shortchange or discount in your head the value of having that bag. Very important. Very crucial. Get that. Need that. So first thing we're gonna get on inside our bag that we're gonna bring into every estimate and water damage job is our voltage tester and flashlight. Flashlight is very important. You just tap it and you have access to a light. Different settings on there as far as the light goes. Go ahead and turn it off. And then it's going to tell you if the outlet is hot. So this is very important if you're working around live electricity when it comes to property damage. You're having electricians come in, or you might want to have a certain part of the property, no power. Test it whenever you go on to that part of the job that you're working on. Because when you're dealing with water damage, right, and they might need power at certain parts of the house to keep the refrigerator going or whatever the case, but you might need that downstairs, the power off. Make sure that power's off, because if you're working with any electrical or anything like that, you can hurt yourself, and that's not something that we want. So have one of these. We also have an outlet tester. Very important. We take this on every estimate and job we go on, inspection, all that, because we need to make sure that the outlets are working properly. And also, if we want to make sure that the power's off, we can check that with these. Turns on, it gives you a digital reading, right? You can test the GFCI, right? That's the ground fault circuit indicator, right? Has a button, check that on. So you just push test and it will reset it. And if it's working properly, it will trip and you just push the button again. So very important, especially in those areas that are required to have GFCIs like bathrooms and things like that. You'll want to make sure that you're situated with these incredible tools that are right on the bag, right on our bag, right? So pretty cool. And we could, teach you this in person as well. Do an in-person class, going over all this. That's how you know it's on the fly. Cool. Now we put this back in our bag. All right, now let's get to the next thing. hazmat suit, right? This covers your whole body when they feel like it may be mold in there, maybe contaminated with black water, whatever the case. Put this stuff on, protect your skin. Don't risk your skin for whatever situation is. You can get these at Harbor Freight for about $10. Okay, get one. Probably like, try to get like five. Right, have them on you, and then if they get dirty, you like keep a couple with you. But you at least at a minimum want to have one because they might tell you suit up. The situation is black water or something like that. If you feel like you don't want to get anything on your skin or anything like that, get one of these. Very important. Okay. Moving along. One of the most important things to have is a screwdriver. Okay. This is 11-in-1 screwdriver. You have multiple tips. Right. There's a flathead small, Phillips head small. You also have star head. Flip it around. You have a smaller star head. But these also, you have the sockets that you can use as well. Socket here, socket here, socket here. And then it flips over and has the same setup on the other side. Okay. This is removable. We have the box end, large, box end, small. We also have Phillips and flathead large. Okay. So many different times that you would need this. This is probably one of your top things that you got to have on you because when you're opening up outlets, when you're just doing different things, you're going to need this. Trust. Water and property damage restoration, you will need your screwdriver. It's 11-in-1. We got this one from the Home Depot for I think like $30. So very valuable to have that. Put this back in our bag. Next, we have a voltmeter. I had this for years. This is a cobalt voltmeter. Very important when you want to determine specific voltages where you're at, high, low, whatever's going on. Because it might not be an outlet. It might be a different type of outlet, a larger washing machine type outlet, and they want to make sure it's working right. And you're there, so you pull your meter out and you do your testing. I opened it up just because anybody can say they have one, but yeah, this is the proof. We have ours. Been using it for years. Has a light on it. It could detect high voltage. It could detect low voltage. It could detect voltage from batteries. So whatever the situation is, you're covered. Okay. Next, we want to get to our Foxwell handheld infrared thermometer. Okay. It's in a box. But we have this because when we're talking about water damage that you think that's there, we can inspect that and make sure it's there with this meter. So that's what's important about having this. All right. Very, very important to have a meter. We can get into it, open it up. Structure manual, box, lanyard, charge cable. As you see, look at it. Has everything that you need. It can record, take pictures. As you see, very valuable to have this laser pointer so you know exactly what you're pointing at. Right, very important to have that. You can get one of these for about $200 on Amazon. Very important. Do not go to a water damage job without your camera. Thermal camera. Don't go to one without one. Say that one more time. Do not go to a water damage job without your thermal camera, okay? Next thing you want to get to is our mask. Gotta have a mask, okay? This mask is very important because when you're breathing in possible, toxins or whatever, mold, spores, stuff like that, you want to have a mask to protect yourself so you don't get sick. A lot of times it's required on larger commercial clients. They'll require you to have a mask. We'll put it on real quick so you can kind of see it. Okay, that's the mask. I don't know how good you could hear me, but I'm just showing you can still communicate to people when you have this mask on. It's fully filtered, right? We get this one from McCullough in San Fernando Valley, California. But I wanted to show you that it works. How to put it on. Make sure it's sealed. One correct connection at the neck. One above your head. It is a little harder to breathe, so be prepared when you're going to wear it, okay? Now we're going to take it off. The reason why I kept this on when I was doing it was because when I was testing it out and talking, is kind of so you can see it, kind of how it looks and stuff like that. Another very Another very important thing is to have your gloves. Okay, get these from Harbor Freight. This is 2X large. Kind of have larger hands, but make sure you can get gloves you can fit. But you don't want to get your hands dirty and nasty and things like that. So get some gloves so you can protect your hands. Hands are very important. You don't want to get them dirty and nasty when you're touching your phones and cameras and walking in front of clients and things like that. You want gloves, okay? And the last thing we're gonna get on is our pinless moisture meter for softwood, hardwood, building material, drywall, ambient temperature, and mildew indication. Right, this is very important because the thermal camera shows it may be wet. Excuse me, it may be different temperature, but that might be because of a draft. That might be because the house wasn't properly insulated, or just whatever the cold spot is. With this, you're gonna use this, get up on a ladder, or walk up on it, yourself, and determine if you have that specific problem. Right, as you see, it's in there. This is our meter. It has different modes, different settings, and in the future, we'll kind of go through the whole thing. I have a whole video dedicated to the meter. Really have videos dedicated to all this stuff. Yeah, we really have videos dedicated to all this stuff. Okay, so you can kind of know what to buy, where to buy it, and how to use it, and stuff like that. We're kind of going over a brief, rough draft, right? This is just the starter kit that you need. But it's good to see it. It's good to get a visual of what it looks like, where to go to get it, how to operate it, and all of this stuff fits on this bag. This bag, it all fits in, so I just put it on my back, go in, do my job, take the bag back out with me. The hat, I can even tie that to a strap. Had the hard hat on the bag. Yeah, this is just very important stuff to know about. To know that we're not just showing up, but we're showing up with equipment to work. We know how it works. We know how to use it. We want you to know how water and property damage experts should come, but there still is more stuff. This is just the basics. You will need your, caution tape. You will need your tape measurer. You will need, stuff like that. A hammer, a stud finder, stuff like that. Higher level stuff, but not nothing that you can't get. But we want to let you know about the basics, the foundational things. You can get all this stuff for about $1,000. Might sound like a lot, but in the big picture, nah, take that back, $2,000, because I added in a smartphone. But in the big picture, you're gonna make hundreds of thousands of dollars. So 100x your money, get the stuff. It's worth it, right? And me personally, I do this at a high level. So I have a professional tripod, which I can go over in the future. Professional camera, Canon EOS 80D. So 80 Delta ADD, right? Not ADD. Okay, but that's the kind of camera that we have. The kind of camera that we're using to do the things that we're doing to capture stuff like our podcasts and our videos for our training program, like we're doing now at a high level. When we capture our training that we do at events and things like that. So we're gonna go over all that so you know kind of what to do, what's going on. But yeah, that's it. Get your equipment, level up, do things at a high level. Don't be afraid; it's worth it. Lock in and get to where you need to go. James Elite Love, Expert Steam Training. James Elite Love, Experts Steam Cleaning, Water, and Property Damage Restoration Company. Here, another episode of Experts Restoration Training. Let's go. Take care, maintain, and get that income from your property at a high level. Let's go.